With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days.
Tensions in West Asia soaring with the US entering the war, the international community continuing to push to avert a wider conflict in the region. These are the latest developments coming in at this point. The IAEA has demanded the return of agency inspectors to Iran's nuclear sites in a bid to account for its highly enriched uranium stockpiles. And the IAEA chief has said it includes the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%. This after attacks by Israel and the United States on Iran's atomic program.
First of all, we must return to the negotiating table. And for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on our behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
And while the IAEA seeks access, the Iranian parliament is considering to pass a bill to suspend the country's cooperation with the nuclear watchdog. This was raised in the parliament by the speaker. He said that the cooperation would be suspended till Iran has objective guarantees of the professional behavior of the international organization. Ghalibaf also reiterated Iran's stance that it is not pursuing nuclear weapons. Iran says it will neutralize any source of threat at a time and place of its own choosing. This is what Iran's permanent representative to the UN in Vienna had said.
The era of unchecked impunity has come to an end. As long as the source of the threat persists, the Islamic Republic of Iran will continue to undertake necessary, resolute, and proportionate measures to neutralize it at a time, place, and manner of its own choosing, in full exercise of its inherent right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter.
The gate of Iran's notorious Evin prison in Tehran has been hit in a suspected Israeli strike. Iran's Judiciary Media Center confirmed that the prison has been hit, but added that the situation remained under control. The prison is known for holding dual nationals and Westerners, often used by Iran as bargaining chips in negotiations with the West. And with us at this point is Fred Weir, journalist and political commentator. Thanks very much for being here, Fred. I have to begin by asking you for your assessment of where things stand vis-a-vis Russia and Iran at this point. Of course, that statement coming in from the Russian side that there is no justification for the unprovoked aggression in Iran, but whether or not Russia will and to what extent support Iran and get involved remains to be seen.
There is no secret about Russia's really vocal opposition to this. Not only that, but they are deeply alarmed, I think, by this turn of events. It was probably not expected. And this also overturns a lot of, what peacemaking hopes that were in the wind, not only with Iran and Israel, but Ukraine and Russia. Because the level of deceit that Donald Trump pursued, dangling peace talks, promising 2 weeks, and then attacking, this will have reverberations on any other diplomatic processes that are going on. But we must keep in mind that the Russian arrangement with Iran, a strategic partnership, does not include a military component. It's different from the one with North Korea, for example, where there is a mutual defense clause, which has already been activated. The North Koreans sent troops last year to fight in Kursk against the Ukrainians on Russian soil. So that is one type of alliance, an alliance, but Iran does not have that with Russia. And I think Putin pointed that out the other day fairly clearly, and it makes it, fairly plain that Russia will not step in to even probably provide arms, much less any kind of military support for Iran. The support that Russia is giving here and now is going to be diplomatic, and I think that will be all it is.
Question marks over which way things could head. And the very fact that this visit is taking place is crucial in itself. So tell us more about what you see happening from here onwards.
Well, it has the potential to go really, really bad. Let's all face that. On the other hand, I think the Russians will seek every opportunity to insert themselves as mediators diplomatically if they can. They were trying to do that last week before this new turn of events. Their idea is that they could take all of Iran's enriched uranium and store it in Russia under Russian control, and that would remove the biggest single problem. And the Russians have a history of playing a positive role in diplomacy with Iran and its nuclear program, so that if a diplomatic window opens, I think the Russians will try to step into it. But right now, that does not look like the most likely circumstance, likely outcome.
Right, you did say at the outset that even that agreement that was earlier inked in April, it is a strategic one. It's not a military agreement or a military alliance per se. But do you see that changing at any point? Is that a possibility? Also, what kind of a role can Russia really play as a mediator, perhaps? Because that possibility was also talked about earlier.
Yes, I think you can rest assured that Russia does not want war with the United States, doesn't want to get into war with the U.S. or even Israel. Russia will stay out of this militarily, and it has no obligations, as we said. But it also is almost unique in having good relations with Iran, with Israel, and the United States. It is a country that could position itself as a mediator. It has the trust of all sides, and it has a pretty good, as I said, a pretty good track record in terms of helping. 10 years ago, that agreement, the JCPOA, which is now long since fallen by the wayside, but the Russians were instrumental in helping that come into being. They could do that again, but we really have to see the winds turn that way, and right now they're not.
All right, Fred, thanks very much for joining us with those perspectives.
Thank you.